I felt like I was on fire. I felt like I was burning from the inside out.
Imagine somebody coming in and giving you that choice of life. Go on a vent or die. But if you go on the vent, you know you got a good shot of dying anyway.
Literally word for word, they said, we wish you had HIV because at least we know how to treat that. I was pretty hopeless. You can't cognitively, you're not all there.
Those might have been my last words though. You can't go down. You gotta fight. You gotta fight. And then it was the long, long road to recovery.
This March marks the 2-year anniversary of the first COVID-19 case here in New York and for many areas in the United States. You've seen the stories.
You walk in and it's hard for me to say, but you can actually smell fear. You smell death.
And now as the second wave is crashing onto Long Island, he and his wife gave a boost today to the team that saved his life in the spring.
New York sounding the alarm about the strain happening with our hospitals right now.
Now, thankfully, we're in a different place with vaccines and antiviral medications, but for patients who endured the first wave of the pandemic, some still undergo unknowns long after the acute infection. Meet Kevin and Matt, who are both fighting the long-lasting impacts from the virus.
Last night I worked at Madison Square Garden was the first night of the Big East tournament. The next day, St. John's was playing, and at halftime, they shut everything down. So I'm gonna say that was about March 14th, 15th, 12th, around there, the week before the 20th. And I got up the next day. I still was working for the, doing the post office, getting up 2:30 in the morning. I had to be there for 3 o'clock in the morning, driving the big trucks. And I kept getting up every day, Linda, but I just didn't feel right.
I got it around just before Thanksgiving of 2020. I've also had it twice. So I've had it pre and post vaccination. So I was sick like mid-November and they told me, they did a rapid test and I tested negative. And they said I had a sinus infection. So they put me on a Z-Pack and some prednisone. That Monday, I felt like unusually hungover. It was like I saw 1,000 stars in like 3 seconds. Like I got hit in the head like 1,000 times in 3 seconds. Like I twitched like this. I knew something was wrong. My fiance was right next to me. I'm like, Lauren, something's wrong. I also had like this rush of chill over me. I checked my temperature, it was 103, out of nowhere.
He thought it was just like a bad case of the flu, gave me an antibiotic, gave me cough medicine and said, you'll be, take this, you'll be fine. I drank that cough medicine like it was water, like it was a bottle of water. I was just drinking it. I couldn't stop coughing. And I said to Lori, I said, something's wrong, something's wrong. I said, babe, I'm gonna take myself to the hospital. Don't give me an x-ray there, let me go there. My last words to Lori, and almost was my last word, you can't go down. You can't go down. You have to take care of Michelle, you can't go down. I says, I'll see you in a couple hours, let me go to the emergency room.
I kept getting worse though, it was harder to breathe. After like 2 hours of sleep, I'd wake up in a pool of sweat. Like it's just not like it's just like light sweat, like my clothes, it was like I ran a marathon. Then like the no sleeping started. I felt like I was burning all over. I was coughing so bad, I broke 2 ribs. And again, this is after I left the hospital. I told them I'm gonna be back.
With pre-existing conditions, Matt was sent to the emergency room. After oxygen levels were cleared, he returned home despite feeling a strange burning sensation.
I was like walking in circles essentially, it's totally delirious. Then the ambulance came, they did my blood pressure, it was 210 over 100. I felt like my heart was gonna pop. It felt so extreme.
I walked in the door and Linda, I was scared out of my mind because when I walked in the door, everybody had like almost like a spacesuit on. They do the x-ray of my chest. You could not see my rib cage. Could not see it. It was all like clouds of smoke, all loaded with COVID. Doctor comes in the room. He says, Kevin, I got to put you on a ventilator. I says, Doc, I'm not going on no ventilator. Everybody on the ventilators is dying. I see it on TV. They're dying. You go on a vent, you die. It was almost a death sentence. It was Thursday, Linda. He goes, you don't go on that ventilator today, you will die by Sunday. Imagine somebody coming in and giving you that choice of life. Go on a vent or die. But if you go on the vent, you know, Linda, you got a good shot of dying anyway.
By the third day that Kevin was in the hospital, his oxygen levels dropped to 60. COVID had reached Matt's lungs. At the time, Matt begged for antiviral treatments. Doctors blamed his high blood pressure on anxiety and even diagnosed him with bipolar disorder.
All they cared about, especially back in 2020, is if your O2 was above 95, you were fine. They admitted me again, but then they said they admitted me for anxiety because they said my blood pressure was high because of anxiety. And I said, sure, I'm anxious, but because I feel so horrible. Well, I felt this burning sensation this whole time. Even I feel it now too, not as extreme, but the good way to describe it, it's like I was burning from the inside out, and the pain was so great. I was like writhing. I'd writhe at night.
Proud to say, the big tough guy that I am, I cried like a child, like a baby, thinking this is the life and death decision. Life and death decision right here and now. Let me take my chances. So I ring the bell. I said, call the doctors in, let's do it. The little nurse to the right of me, I don't know her name then, but I got to go back to meet them. Tina Marie. Reach out, I grab her hand, and you can feel she's squeezing my hand right back. And I'm grabbing her hand, and I look at her, she looks at me, and I go, please, don't let me die. Please don't let me die. You tell my family I love them. You tell them I love them. Because you might, in my head, I'm thinking you might be the last person I speak to.
Kevin was in a coma for 46 days, on a ventilator. And during the early days of the pandemic, for patients ending up on a ventilator, New York hospitals showed a mortality rate of almost 9 out of 10. It was a miracle Kevin made it out alive.
And I couldn't close my jaw because my jaw was open for so long with the vent. I had like lockjaw, so every day I had to push my jaw closed a little bit more, till I finally, so I just laid there like this, mouth open, a tracheotomy. They had to lock my arms down because I kept trying to pull the trach out.
They believe the doctors thought it was like anxiety-induced, blah, blah, blah. I said, no, Mom, Dad, this is like something like they don't know about yet. My mom looked into it. She found the term long haul COVID, and she said, maybe you have this.
And then it was the long, long road to recovery.
Thank you.
How many would you say do you take a day?
I used to take 43 pills a day. That was just supplements.